Good. It'll be hard.
Ooh. What time do you guys have?
Well, 9:59.
9:59, okay.
So excited.
I'm used to Apple products syncing with one another, but recently my laptop, which is Apple, and my phone have been a couple minutes apart. I'm like,
Which one's newer?
the phone is newer. And this one's accurate. I don't know. Feels like something's broken in the matrix. It's Mark and the ladies today. Wow. Okay. Where are the boys at? Doing less worse. Oh, no, listen. Yes, welcome back. Good to see you. Yeah, nice to have you. Wait a second, it's been a minute. All right, folks, let us get started. Thanks for coming in. You are here for our June Education Day, and I'm really excited for our conversations, plural today. Often we talk real estate, and we will talk real estate today, but this is a time of year where I, as someone who's regularly trying to get time with agents, whether at our brokerage or outside of our brokerage, find that it's hard to get a hold of people because things are busier and you got, in theory, more business and you got more to juggle in life. Every season brings its set of challenges. Preston, thank you for doubling our male ratio in the room.
We're all gonna be late.
We'll see. We'll see.
Realtor time.
I think women are more learning based than guys. I think you got us there. So do more better. That is terrible grammar for you grammarians in the room. I'm aware. You don't need to tell me that.
I think it's perfect.
You know, I thought it was kind of punchy. You know, I thought it worked. But we're gonna have, I think, 5 different conversations today as it relates to doing more better. The number 168, who knows the significance of that number, or why would I bring that number up today?
Working days in the year?
Probably have more than that. If you're working like 2.5 days a week, that would be accurate.
Sure, yeah.
Which is true for some agents. You're on the right track.
How many we've had so far?
No? Hours in the week. There's 24 hours in a day, there's 7 days in a week. And yet I interact with folks who candidly sell a couple of houses a year and always seem overwhelmed. And then I interact with folks who sell multiples of that in a year, or sell as many as that in a month as that person might in a year, and yet they had a different candor about that. So the focus of today's conversations is not just about how can you sell more homes. That's kind of less of it than anything. So much as how can I get the most out of life, and that's a work thing, that's a life thing. I saw an agent post recently on social media, "Be where your feet are." And I'm like, you know, that's pretty good in the day and age of social media, where we feel like we need to be influencing everyone around us. Be present where you are. And so I don't necessarily believe that the goal of today's conversation has to be, how do I just sell more homes? So we're going to talk with someone who sells a bunch of homes. So much as to say, and I regularly say this to folks, hey, your goals are my goals. Like if you say, I want to sell 12 homes this year because that accomplishes this in my life, that's awesome. Like, and that's what I love about KW. And there's some companies and some cultures say, hey, if you're not doing more, shame on you. That's not our culture. I always want you to ask the question of how can I level up? How can I be smarter? How can I make better decisions in my life and my business? But 12 might be that number for you, and that's great. So I want to provide that valuable caveat. And so the hope, as we have 5 distinct conversations today, is for you to leave with 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 mindset shifts, practical tips about how you can make the most out of our conversation. So 5 conversations. We're going to hear from Talitha Mummert, who is our top solo agent, not just in 2024, but she's racing out the gates. I got an update on your numbers this morning. I'm like, oh my. So we're going to hear kind of how she does it and how she thinks about it. And spoiler alert, she works her butt off. and we'll talk about some mentality there. We're going to hear from Cassandra Stevens on kind of mindset and priorities as you think about doing more better. We're going to hear from, who's next here, Jenna Lysick on organized chaos. The beauty of realtors is that they're get out there and get stuff done sort of people, and the challenge of realtors is like you peek behind the curtain and it's what a mess. And I think Jenna's mentality is going to be helpful for us there. We're going to hear about AI and how can we utilize AI to be smarter in our business. We're all kind of learning that in real time, and so Gina and I are going to have a conversation around that with you all, and then we're going to hear from Erica Chelko, tying it all together because we all have the same 168 hours in the week, but our use of that and our mentality around that and our skills as it relates to time blocking should help us all. Sound fun? One other note, we are doing a kind of a unique giveaway. So if you have business cards, great. If you want to write your name on an index card, we'll draw later. Cassandra, can you help me with that? We are doing our giveaway today is for the KW Summer Mastermind. So you guys have gotten countless emails about these. It's coming up on Friday, July 25th in Independence. This is getting together with 7 KW market centers across the region, across kind of Northeast Ohio. Some market centers from Michigan are coming down. Some market centers from Columbus are coming up. It's going to be a great day of learning. And we are drawing for one person to win 2 tickets because we know that sometimes going to a new thing that's far away in Independence can feel daunting to folks. So we want you to be able to bring a friend to that as well. So if you win and don't plan to go, tell us, because we want to make sure that someone who would use those tickets will go. I think they're $40 a piece or something like that. Yes, Mercedes.
Since you already paid for yours.
Me too. I will happily reimburse you for that.
Oh, I like it. You take 2.
I was going to say tough cookies, so you're lucky Cassandra's in the room. Welcome. Come on in. Are you Jade?
Yes.
Nice to meet you, Mark.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, before we dive in, I would love to hear from a few of you as to why you are here. Some of you may just say, I'm someone who chooses to participate, but I'd love to hear more specifically, what are you hoping to get out of today's conversation? What would be a win for you today?
Jade.
The drawing.
Fair. Big money, big money. We'll do that later. I'm sorry. Yeah, Jake, please.
So as a newer agent, I'm more of like a get stuff done as it comes in kind of person. So as the steps move along, I just go ahead and just get it done. But I don't think it leaves time for me to like go out and socially network in person.
Yes. Yep. It's easier to, so there's two aspects to your business, and many of us love doing one and fail at the other. And so the one is the servicing business. Hey, oh yeah, I got an inspection today. You better believe I'm going to clear my calendar for that inspection. But when I ask you, how's your lead gen today? I didn't have time to do the most important thing in my business, which is like every realtor ever has faced that, and some have chosen to solve for that. But you're normal, and I'm glad that you're here. It's a great response. What else? Danielle?
I am curious about how to like work smarter, like with AI and how I can use that. Or like it costs money to make money. So I recently found a daycare or a sitter for my daughter.
Yeah.
So how can I use that time to make like the most money back, I guess?
Yeah. Hey, I'm a mom. I have other things going on in my life. How can I ensure that I'm making the most out of dollars spent, out of hours spent, highest ROI per effort? Yeah. Yep. that's the amazing opportunity in this industry, is that number can become infinite. You know, 1 hour's worth of effort can create like infinite money. And hundreds of hours of effort can create $0. And so how do I get as smart as possible there? That's a great one. What else? One more. Liz, is that a butterfly
It is a butterfly.
or a moth? Man, that is serious. I like that.
Real heavy stuff. isn't it?
Yeah, I was gonna say, I had a t-shirt like that, and this is not like indicative of lifestyle choices I make, but it was all different types of mushrooms across it.
Yeah, no, mine have no mushrooms, but yeah.
Anyone else, while you're here today?
I'm rethinking everything in my business because I've transitioned over the last couple of months.
Mhm.
So I'm just anxious to get fresh perspectives to help me to look at things differently.
Great. Well, as fresh things come up, as you guys know me, I'm highly interactive, so we're gonna hear from different folks. I have a feeling there's gonna be time at the end of each of their session for some, hey, well, let's talk more about what that means. But then we're gonna have some Q&A altogether, followed by lunch sponsored by the lovely Sam with you at American Title Solutions. So is
Thank you, sorry. We're already like second.
that what we're doing? Yeah, my kids do this if they're.
Wow, I like
Yeah, it's funny. My son, he's like, they're in this homeschool co-op and they have to memorize and recite things. And my wife is more involved with it than I am. I go to the end of the year thing and he like recites this like kind of long Shakespeare poem as a 6-year-old total knucklehead, and the kids are there doing this. Like, Peter, where the heck was this all this time? Anyway, all right. With that said, Talitha, come on up. Give a hand to Talitha Lummers. So this is gonna be more kind of interview style, whereas some of the others are gonna be them owning the floor. So
I
Talitha,
don't know anybody, sorry, I know Gina, I don't come over much, sorry. Oh, I don't stand up first.
well, as we say, real estate isn't sold in the office.
No.
Real estate is sold out there.
Yeah.
You're a good
But
example.
when I started, I will say, I was at the agency a lot.
Yep.
And I did these classes a lot, so
Yeah.
I will say that.
There's a season for everything. So
Yeah.
give us a flyover, kind of, who are you? How long have you been in real estate? What's your path been in broad brushstrokes to the place that you're at today?
Okay, so I am a proud mother of 2 amazing kids, a 20-year-old who's an electrician, technically still lives at home, but he's very much self-indulged in his own life, which is great. My other daughter just graduated, so she's off to college soon. So I have been a realtor for 9 years. Before this, I did property management for 15 years. So I've been in real estate for a second.
Mhm.
So I think the property management really helped me understand that, you know, we're not just dealing with a sale. This is somebody's livelihood. This is somebody's bringing their child home to, you know, they're raising their children, they're losing a family member, and you know what I mean? Like, this is a lot, and it's very emotional for them and everything else. So, and then I also learned a lot about houses. I've learned to change fill valves on toilets, igniters on furnaces, you know, different things in hot water tanks, you know, so I know a lot about homes also.
Mhm.
So like I can get in with the home inspector and look at things, come up with solutions, different things.
And that gave you a fast track as you were getting started. Hey, I've been
100%.
around this stuff for a while, so I
100%.
don't have to fake it quite as long as many agents have to. There's a
100%.
What are we looking at here?
Yeah, so, you know, I don't know that I'm here to give advice on this, but my advice to you guys, when you're at a home inspection, don't just sit there on your computer, go around with the inspector, learn things, have a knowledgeable inspector, don't be afraid to switch if you find somebody that's not great, done that too. Sometimes they get a little big-headed and then they start missing things, and then you find out that the dishwasher never worked in the first place after a sale, you know what I mean? So anyways, but to get in, learn things, understand
Were
things,
there
that way
other-
when you're walking through with a buyer that you can pick things out.
Were there other skills, as you think about 15 years of property management, which is a long time, obviously understanding components of a home or building, but like customer service, speed of response time, problem solving with difficult people, like any lessons learned in the property management space?
Yeah, it was a doozy. Yeah, I mean, again, like, these are where people live. You know, this is where they sleep at night. This is like, and now with purchasing a home, this is the largest investment more than likely they've ever made. You know what I mean? So it's very emotional. Response, I mean, I get so many clients, honestly, that just see my signs and are like, you know what? My old realtor won't even call me back and text me, and you did right away. So responsiveness is huge. Am I always 100% on it? No, it might take me a couple hours and I'm like, shoot, sorry, I saw you. Because it is just me. I run my own business. I don't know if you guys know who I am, but I don't have an admin. I don't have anybody that does my paperwork. I do everything from beginning to end.
Well, and to camp for an extra moment on personal life, so you got two amazing kids that you're single mom of.
Yes,
So it's
I'm
not
a
as though
single
like,
mom.
hey hun, can you take them to practice
No.
today? Like, I know your daughter has been very involved in athletics and you've been
Yeah.
kind of committed to that journey.
Yeah.
You've refed at a high level
Yes.
for a long time
Used to
as well.
officiate basketball, yes.
Yeah, so it's we all have personal lives. I think we talk about real estate when we're in the office, but I think I want you to thrive as a person, you know, and making money is obviously part of that. But living a rich life outside of that matters as well. 60 units in the last 12 months. So when we say she sells a lot of homes, no admin, no, you know, team, 60 units in the last 12 months, which is a remarkable number. Go high level at first. Let's talk mentality. As you think about goals, as you think about drive, as you think about why do I work as hard as I do, share your thoughts there.
Basically, I've had no other choice. Again, as a single mom, I've been divorced 12 years. I've been pretty much doing it on my own. So there was no other option. My first year in real estate, I will say, I made $25,000. I was borrowing money from my grandma to get groceries. One of my best friends was like, you can come live in my basement. We'll do something. You can come live here. I'm like, girl, I got this. And she's like, you're insane. And now I'm doing this. So I don't really know how to not work though. I thrive on craziness and busyness. When I'm slow, I'm manic. Like, I don't even know what to do with myself. So I'm like doing a bunch of silly stuff that honestly doesn't really I don't have an ROI. Like, I don't have a return on it, but I feel like I should be doing something. So, but my biggest thing is just, I would say of those 60, 90 at least percent are repeat and referrals.
Okay.
So keeping in contact with my clients, being social, being, you know, friends on Facebook. I send birthday cards with a $5 gift card to like either Starbucks or Dunkin' every birthday, and to their kids. It is getting very costly, I'm not gonna lie on that, but the kids, honestly, I don't know if anybody's a parent, but I would rather my kid get that card and that, you know what I mean, than me. Like, that means more to me, like when you're interactive with, you know, not just your client, but your client's kids. So they love that. And then I always get like, not always, but of course, I'll get thank you cards from the kids and little messages from them like thanking me. So just being personable and understanding that I'm a person too. And you know, I have very candid conversations with my clients. They know my life. My clients have come watch my daughter's basketball games, graduation parties. I was having surgery and the ones was, and then when she came over to say hi to me, she's a nurse there, you know what I mean? Like, we're just all very personable and approachable. And they understand that I'm a human and I have struggles too, just like they do. And, you know, I struggle raising a kid, just like a lot of clients do. So just being real.
Yeah.
You know?
I think that's such an important point. And I feel like once a week I'm telling folks it's okay to be real. And I think sometimes like being real can mean unprofessional. So like, you know, what's the line? You'll probably know. And if you don't, like have someone in your life who loves you enough to tell you that you being real was unhelpful in that setting. But at the same time, authentically a person who doesn't have it all together, who's saying like, oh, I can't be in 3 places at once, but my day is somehow requiring me to figure out how I can do that. People relate with that, especially, I've never sold real estate in New York or LA, but I think so much of our perception of what real estate is comes from high dollar, high glamour markets, which like, guys, this is Canton, Ohio. And so I think authenticity, whether it's in how you portray yourself on social media, hey, here's my bloopers reel of me, whatever, or here's a list of the silly things that I've done in the real estate, or the crazy things that have happened, or whatever, or just in the relationships that you're nurturing authentically. Are you a CRM person? Are you a spreadsheet person? As you think about nurturing relationships, 90% of which, 90% of your business is coming from past repeat SOI based business. Is it system or is it just, I just know?
I could probably do way better on this, and I always have intention to, and then I get very busy. And I don't let that consume my life. So I have a silly Excel spreadsheet that every month I go through and I write out my birthday cards, and I do anniversary cards too for everybody. And then what I like to do also, and I noticed people like, is I take pictures, of course, at closings as much as possible at the new house. And then a couple years later, or a year later or so, I send that picture to them and they're like, oh my God, I'm so happy we have this now. And it's just different things that, I don't know, just go a little above, and it doesn't take much. It's not very expensive. And I just get a big batch of cards from, Amazon for 25 bucks for 50 of them. You know what I mean? So it's nothing fancy, but it's just that you thought to take the time. Then I have thinking of you cards that if I see somebody struggling, maybe I hear somebody on Facebook, and so I'll send them a little thank you card, a little pick me up card, or hey, they just lost their parent, sympathy card, or just had a baby or a wedding, or I have a tote of cards in plastic bags that are all labeled as to what they're for. And I try to stay up on that. So every month I try to sit down at the beginning of the month, like I've already done July, but I'm going on vacation next month. So I've already done July. And then I have them each week like labeled when I need to send them in the mail.
I love that. I think so much of healthy habits comes from reducing the barriers to doing that thing. And so like, oh yeah, I'm someone who writes cards to folks. Gosh, when can I get to Walmart or Amazon or wherever to do the thing? But say like, no, at all times I have my baskets, like my inventory's there. And so candidly, when I'm like relaxing in the evening, watching,
that's what I do.
I could pull out 5 or 10 cards and do some of that.
That's what I do.
But because it's there, as opposed to like, I think so much of life, like I remember reading a few years ago, like one of the greatest determinants of fitness is like, hey, if you set your like sneakers out ready to go, like just the like, hey, I'm waking up and that's the first thing that I face, like your odds of actually going and moving to start your day are much higher than like, what am I gonna do? Like make your decision ahead of time. That's a super simple example. So cards, kind of thoughtfulness, etc. Are you asking for business as you nurture your people, or is it more like, hey, I'm just being the person to you?
No.
Okay.
I'm really bad about asking for referrals. I do on Facebook. I'll be like, hey, if you know somebody,
Sure.
that kind of stuff, but like in person or via text. And I'm really bad at asking for reviews.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't bother people with it. I don't know. Every once in a while, I'll shoot somebody a text and go, hey, do you mind leaving me a review?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, usually it's to me, it's just like at the end of it, they're either moving or moving in, like moving out or moving in. So then I don't want to bother them right away. Then I just forget because I get busy with something else. But I still get people that do it. There's a lot of things I could do better. I just don't. I don't do.
Sure. Well, and I don't ask that in a loaded way. I think sometimes we think, oh, when I post something on social media or whenever I talk with someone, it always has to be about real estate and it needs to be something like whether you're looking to buy, sell, or invest. And I had a coffee with another top producer yesterday. He's like, Mark, he basically said exactly what you said. He's like, I literally never do it. I post on Facebook like sometimes, but he's
I do Facebook.
really high level, like, hey, I'm gonna write you a card, when I'm in your neighborhood, I'm gonna say, hey, you came to mine, how's the house going?
I
Like,
do
it's-
that, I do
It's just a
text.
high level of thoughtfulness in a relationship. And, you know, we're in the relationship business until people have a real estate need. And I think all too often, we overcomplicate, like, where are the leads? Like, not an invalid question, but when you know enough people that you're providing that sort of care to, it works out if you're systematic with it over time. We know that 60 deals a year doesn't break down to a nice even 5 every single month. Sometimes it's 2 and sometimes it's 10. I've seen your numbers. All too often on those crazy months, and for some people, when they have 2 or 3, they feel like the whole world needs to stop, and you've built up some muscle memory over time to say, I can do more than that. When you're busy chasing contracts and inspections, and I need to be here for this appraiser, all of this, how do you still make the time to generate future business?
No, I'm bad at that, don't ask me that.
Next question.
Yeah, no, that's not me. I do have a CRM. I still use Market Leader because Market Leader was big when I started. And it was
You're dating
actually
yourself with that comment.
yes. So I still actually use that. Don't get me started. I'm switching over to Command, but it's just easier because it like has so many different things already in it that I don't have to do.
Yeah.
Like I don't have to go in there and do stuff. So, but anyways, yeah, I'm not good at that.
Mhm.
So, but again, a lot of my business is just staying present in everybody's minds.
Mhm.
I'm sure I know I've lost business because you know what I mean. People
Sure.
use other realtors. It's not like I keep 100% of my clients,
Sure.
but just being real and like my daughter's graduation party was Saturday, and I'm very real. And I just tell my clients, I'm sorry, this is my daughter's graduation party.
Yeah.
And they're happy, they're fine. I squeeze them in other times. When I first was in the business, I did a lot of, hey kids, we're gonna go to dinner, but we're gonna stop and show the house quick. And now they're like, yeah, that's not quick. We know you, mom, you talk too much. So, but and then now it's like with my kids, it's, and with my personal life, I don't date, not to put that all out there, but I don't have time for that. But with like my friends, I have a great group of friends. I have an appointment, I'm sorry.
Mhm.
I have this and this and this open now.
Mhm.
And then honestly, sometimes if a house is gonna sell right away. Like right now, we got a couple days with houses, but some houses are gonna sell right away.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, you're gonna have to be like, hey friends, I'm gonna be a little late, I gotta go do this quick. And I don't know, I never have an issue with people understanding that I have a life and that, I have other things going on.
That's so, and we'll talk more about time with Erica later, but almost everyone that I meet needs to think better about how they're actually the boss of their time. And, oh, sorry, the number of agents that have told me they have a 9 a.m. showing this week, I'm like, what on earth are you, and like, okay, if it's an out-of-state person that's coming in at this time, but like, if there are other things that are better spent doing at 9 a.m., and I'm gonna argue there's always better things that you can do at 9 a.m. than show at home. I have an appointment at that time is all you need to say. I feel like you're the queen of that, Gina. Hey, that appointment.
And it
They
doesn't
don't need
matter
to
what
know.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't
It could
need
be
to know.
hair, it
You're
could
getting your
be
nails
just
done.
me
Yeah.
time,
I have an appointment, sorry. I got this and this. So.
Coffee with my, with a friend,
It's
like
funny
that's.
you'd say hair appointment.
You guys know my hair appointments. I go to network at
Yeah.
the Butch's.
Yeah.
They know he's lying.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's like coffee with friends and there's practice with kids, but you also travel.
Yes.
How do you manage that? 'Cause many
I
people
still
say-
work. I'm not
Okay.
gonna lie. There is not a day I don't work. Now, like somebody came to me and she's a new single mom, bless her heart, and she said, "I'm a new single mom now. I wanted a career change. I want to talk to you because I love how I want to have a flexible job with good benefits." And I was like, none of this is real estate. I don't know, like, do you understand?
Yeah.
Like, technically I make my schedule, but I work when my clients need me to work, which is when nights and weekends when everybody else is
Yeah.
wanting to do stuff, right? So I'm like, I don't make, then she's like, oh, I was like, yeah, she goes, never mind. But it's, what were you asking me? I forget, I got.
How,
on a
like, when you're,
tangent, sorry.
it's not just a coffee, but like, hey, I'm going away for
Oh,
10 days.
you know, I still work all the time.
You're
I
not
don't know
showing
how
homes
to.
and hosting opens. So
No,
how do you manage that?
Mason is my go-to, Gina's son, like, he's fantastic, I can always depend on him, and I already got him lined up for when I go to Greece. But, I'll still be available,
Mhm.
and I'll
Do
still
you,
be
do you
selling.
tell your clients or
Yep.
just like, yeah, I'm still answering my phone, so they
Yeah.
don't need to know?
No,
Okay.
I don't lie to them.
Yeah.
I want them to know, like, I have somebody called me last night, they're like, we need to list. And I was like, okay, I got Greece coming up when we go on the 7th through the 17th, we're gonna be doing it before, we doing it after. And then I have another one that I'm signing tonight that we're gonna do pictures while I'm gone and list it when as soon as I come home. I mean, I can work, I don't know, yeah, I work all the time.
Do you, there's no right answer here. Some people will say, hey, I can have any agent go to an inspection for me. I don't need to be present for all my closings. Like, what percentage of those moments are you choosing to be present for versus? not?
The only way I'm not at a closing is if I just absolutely cannot be, like,
Okay,
I'm not just like having another appointment or something.
sure.
More than likely, I'll move appointments to be, I'm at almost all of my closings.
Mhm.
And then for inspections, yeah, I don't know, yeah, same.
Okay. Yeah.
Cause I like to be there, I mean, I do have a client that they freak out, they've already freaked out on 2 houses and walked away. Can't control that, you know what I mean? But I'd like to be there with my clients for inspections because, I don't know, I'm a control
It's a big
freak.
moment.
I'm a
Yeah.
control freak with my business, so I don't want somebody misrepresenting what I am, what I do for business, or not knowing, you know what I mean, and then letting a client freak out about something, so.
mhm.
I tell my clients all the time, I've sold, every time I go to Cedar Point, inevitably, I negotiate a deal in line for a ride. I've written contracts on the beach in the Dominican, I negotiated deals in France last summer. I will still be working, and I think, like, because my clients are either referrals or past clients, they know my work ethic. Like this one now, I've already sold a house for him, he's like, oh, we're not worried about you, we
Yeah.
know you'll do your job, so. Because my business is such a referral and repeat business, like they already know me,
Yeah.
so they're not worried about it.
Yeah.
That took time.
Yeah.
That took time, I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie,
if
that
as a
took
brand
time.
new agent working on your first deal, you say, hey, don't worry, I'm gonna manage this from California, they may say, you don't know what you're doing, and I want you.
Well, last summer I went on I didn't know this guy, so I went on this listing appointment, we did 2 appointments together, and the last one I said, hey, I'm leaving for France in a couple days. I didn't get it, cause I was leaving.
Mhm.
Guess who never sold their house? Sorry, I kind
Yeah.
of chuckle at that. It never sold.
Yeah.
He went with another agent and it never sold, so I was like, I could have sold your house, but anyways,
Mhm.
it's, just be real and let them know, like, hey, you're still working.
Do you use a transaction coordinator?
No. Girl,
She's
no.
crazy.
Girl,
Well, and I
no.
think, let's just talk about France last year. I think I've been doing more like thinking through the deathbed lens, meaning what will I be glad or regret through on, you know, being on my deathbed. And it's one of those like, oh man, I wish I would have gotten one more deal. Like or like, I'm so glad I made that memory. And like that's like, so obviously, an example.
Traveling's huge, I'm more about like, since my kids were younger, my son doesn't like to travel as much, he'll go to the Dominican with us, but he just likes to play on the beach. Excursions, adventuring around the world, that's more my daughter and I, so life experiences.
Yeah.
So for Christmas, it was our trip to the Dominican, because they're not gonna remember what I got them for Christmas at 24, they're gonna remember our trip to the Dominican.
Yeah.
So it's just more about the experiences in life with my kids, and honestly, your clients like to see you have a life.
Yeah.
They want to know you're real.
Yeah.
You know, so many times my clients are like, so proud of your daughter, like, and I just know you love her so much, and that means a lot to people, that you are a human being, not just a, sorry, anybody, car salesman, hate car salesman, don't act like a car salesman, pushy to death, you know what I mean?
Sure.
You know, you're opening doors, I love when people go, somebody just said to me, I'd love to be a realtor. You just go look at houses. I'm like, yes, that's all we do. It's fantastic. It's a glorious job. And I'm like, people really think that's all we do.
Yeah.
And so it's just, when you get in the trenches with them and when you're there with them through everything, that means a lot to them.
Yeah.
And that also means that you're sticking with them when you have to show them 60 houses.
Yeah.
Then they're done that.
Yeah.
You know, there's a couple that I wanted to fire, and then you finally find the one, you're like, thank God. Like, you don't know
I was
how much
just getting
more
ready to
you
fire
have.
you.
I mean, this guy had me going from Warren, no joke,
Oh.
out to Worcester and like just everywhere to see houses. But we finally found a house, so.
You mentioned a few minutes ago, and I think this is such a valuable point, and I have these conversations all the time. Oh, I want to get into real estate for the freedom, the flexibility, and the finances. You know, the 3 F's of real estate. And like, it's not wrong in principle, in that you're not punching a clock in a corporate setting. But anyone who's producing at a high level is gritty and willing to work their butt off, acknowledging that it's not just like, oh yeah, just my 9 hours a day or with my lunch at this time. And so I think that's kind of a question for the room as we think through, you know, whether I've been in this industry for 20 years or 1 month, to ask, like, was my attraction to this industry about ease? And do I need to do some inner work to like back that up and say, like, no, it's about opportunity and it's about trade-offs, but if I'm looking to avoid hard things, I'm not gonna succeed at a high level. Like, that's just the candid truth. And some people may have an easier path, but if you're not willing, if you're looking at this industry through the lens of how easy can it be to make a buck, it's not gonna work. And I think you're a great testament of that. It's like, hey, I grit and I grind. And some of you may say, I like what Talitha's doing, but I would choose to hire a TC, or I'd be good with 40 so that I could, you know, like, we all get to make those choices, which is the beautiful thing about this industry, but you're not gonna get to where she did, or even a fraction of what she did, without the grit factor.
No offense to people that use closing coordinators. I hate that I have to email somebody else about something. That drives me nuts. So I just am like, then they step in and you're like, now you gotta get this email, then I'm like, oh my God, can I just do a deal? Sorry. That's just my personality. It just drives me nuts.
And
but-
control and ensuring that your people are having a particular experience is one of your core priorities.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Anything else wisdom wise you want to share with the room before we open up for other questions?
I've hit lows in this business, and not so long ago myself, and you just have to focus, stay focused, stay genuine to yourself. Know that real estate is ups and downs, as is any self-employed. But when this is your business. This isn't Keller Williams, this is your company. So how you want to portray it and work it is up to you. So, but yeah, be personal, be out there on social media. Social media is huge. I'm sure I don't have to tell anybody here that. Post your real life stuff. Be interactive with people in general. I mean, I'll be somewhere and somebody will come up and be like, "Are you Talitha?" Which they usually call me Talitha, yeah, because that's how my name is spelled. I'm like, yes. And they're like, "Oh my gosh, I follow your real estate, your Facebook stuff, your, you know, I like that kind of stuff." I have no idea who they are. So just get out there. You know, go the extra mile for your clients. You know, I got some clients one time because I had somebody else looking for a house in Perry. So I'm on the Perry pages. I'm on this Mass and Sounding Board. I'm on everything. Hey, who has something? And they're like, I love how you went above and beyond for your client. So then I get people from that too. So just work hard. Again, stay true to yourself, and always family first. God and family first.
Yeah.
Always.
I love that everyone experiences the highs and lows.
Yes.
And I know you have,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
know everyone in this room has. And I think sometimes, like, if I had a dime for every time I talked with someone who was like, I'm so overwhelmed, my life is so crazy right now, I've got so many deals going. And then, like, I'll see them 6 weeks later and they're like, I'm scared that I'll starve. And that's not just a new agent thing, that's a top producer thing also. And I think part of winning in this business over time is like just normalizing that and say, like, the myth of the steady it's a myth. There's gonna be feast months and exhausted months, and there's gonna be like, oh, I just sold my last pending and I'm not sure where my next one's coming from, and just saying like, that's normal, that's what sales is. And I'm just gonna continue to focus on what I can.
I've really tried, like this last year, surprisingly with my volume, I have tried to relax when I do have some downtime. Cause it always picks up. Like I said, I was spending time on silly stuff that wasn't getting me a return on anything. So why am I doing that? So I've stopped and I've just relaxed and given myself that time to regroup. Do a couple little projects. Oh, plan a vacation, because you will always get busy right before and during vacation. Just plan the vacation, and that's when the business comes to.
And if it's not planned, it's not gonna happen, you know?
Yeah, we don't get this one life to live, and my kids are like my world, and I have adult kids, I don't even know how that happened already, but they're adults, and I have this very limited time with them, so I am not gonna let my business ruin that, but I guarantee I will be working, and they'll be annoyed, my daughter will probably be annoyed. But, cause she'll be talking to me, I'm like, work, like I got work, you like to do this stuff, you like to, gotta pay the bills, and she's like, she's actually thinking about going into real estate one day, but I told her to get her degree first and figure out life, so. Go to
Sounds great.
college.
Anyone have questions before we transition?
So as people are here starting their business or trying to grow their business, what was your get the ball rolling thing in those first couple of years? Cause I'm thinking, what people are thinking is, past clients are great, repeat business is great, cause
But how do you get
same
it?
thing, but where did that come from? Now you got that ball rolling, how do you get it going?
Honestly, it's just being known in the area and then getting people to spread your stuff, just being known.
So you weren't buying leads, you weren't doing what was like some?
Oh, I still do open houses, can we talk about how dry those are?
Yeah.
But it takes one, but I still do open houses, mostly on my own, every once in a while I'll get somebody if something comes up that I can't, but I still do open houses, I don't think they're a great way right now for leads, sorry if I should say that. I think a lot of buyers right now are represented, I think they're very knowledgeable for the most case, I'm not seeing that. Market leader, I have paid for stuff and it's junk. Just don't waste your money. I have paid, I've done Upnest. I don't know if you guys know what Upnest is. That I've gotten a couple, and that's probably where my other not in my sphere have come from. And then again, like the one, they're gonna sell another house with me because I've stayed in contact with them. So I mean, how's it just I'm not gonna lie, just being known is how I've got my business.
Engaging, being sociable, being involved in
Everything I've talked about.
activities, talking to people.
Yeah.
Relationship.
Yeah.
Yes, Andy.
That was like the same question I was gonna ask, but I was gonna say, how do you, because I just got my license like a few weeks ago, and I don't wanna be pushy with like people, because I have a really big family and I have a lot of like family friends, and I don't know how to like bring it up without sounding like salesy, because I don't wanna come across that way, so how did you do that in the beginning, like bring it up to people and like spread the word without making it feel like an obligation to them, I guess?
Do you talk to them? Do you text them? Whatever you want to do, make it personable though. Don't like group chat it. I wouldn't. But I would just say, hey, I don't know if you know, but I just got my real estate license. If you know anybody looking to buy or sell, I'd really appreciate the referral. And then also throw in some personal, like how so-and-so, don't just make it about business. Because then people don't, I even do it now, I'm like, ugh, you know what I mean? I just make it personable too. Ask them. I ask my friends and family, and I don't even have to ask anymore, to share my stuff on Facebook.
Yeah.
Share my listings, share my different posts. I've been so busy, I haven't done my videos. I'm just trying to do every week a video, but yeah, I haven't done that. Just ask them to share stuff for you. And like, I don't even ask anymore, and they just do.
Yeah, Andy, I would say, once you're known, you don't need to talk about real estate all the time, but as you're getting started, like, for you to start calling people, hey, high school friend, like, how you been? They're like, what's going on? So like, make the announcement, and you're doing a good job already on social media. Just like, hey, I'm choosing this, and then as you've laid the baseline, then it's about the ongoing. Hey, how was your vacation this summer? Like, what are you looking forward to this year? Like, you're able to make it more personal once you've established the real estate baseline.
And accept friends that you don't know. Everybody's like, oh, how do you know so-and-so? I'm like, who? I'm like, you gotta, and I am very honest. I'm like, you gotta understand, Facebook is free marketing. Like if somebody's local and they friend me and they don't seem like a creeper, let's be honest, ladies, there's a lot of those, I will accept them.
Mhm.
So it's free marketing.
Yeah.
Why not?
Erica, you had one?
Mine was Gina's.
Oh,
I
Yeah,
have
that's
one.
good. Yeah, Sam.
You mentioned that you stopped doing silly things. What are some of those silly things?
so let's see, silly things. I probably shouldn't say anything because I know some of you probably promote and do this stuff. I don't do expireds. I don't go after FSBOs. Like I had a girl that came to me and she's like, hey, I might sell this, but I'm gonna try FSBO. And then she contacted me back. She's like, if I list it, I'm going with you, but dear God, if you realtors don't stop calling me. Like, they hate that, guys. I don't know. Again, I'm probably going against everything that's being taught here to do, but I don't bother people. I don't harass them. And if they come to me, you know, I'll follow up, but I'm not harassing them.
Can I just throw them out there? I agree with you completely. But if you do actually truly have a buyer, because I just had a brother-in-law selling his mom's condo, same thing. He's like, if I get one more freaking call
Yeah,
from a realtor that tells me I have a buyer when they didn't,
they're lying.
that's
Yeah.
a bad look for us. So,
Well, that's, I have seen those trainings that people teach
I
you to
know
do
it.
that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. I don't like to be deceitful. I don't think that's a good way to do it. And it's like, well, it gets your foot in the door and then you can turn on the sales. I don't know. I'm not a salesy person. Like I said, I'm not a car salesman. So I don't like that approach. And I know a lot of clients don't like it either.
Yeah,
So.
my, like, you know, stepping on my toes, the best lead generation strategy is the one that you will repeatedly do. So it's not about like, here's the 30 that I need to do. It's like, oh, pick 2 or 3. And for most people, the FSBO's expired kind of grinding is not gonna work for you. For a few, it does. And like, we have some agents that see significant success there. But you kind of have to be just a focus and that you're crushing it in that space. If I do it every once in a while, like you're not gonna see it.
And people like personable things too, like I got a client once, cause I wrote a handwritten letter, I didn't type it up, I hand wrote it. And she's like, that meant a lot, that you actually took the time, that makes me think you're gonna take the time with my listing too, so. Just, I don't know, different little things like that, that makes sense.
Jason Abrams, who's a KW leading voice, says, be more real with more people more often. You know, and I think that's a good summary for how you kind of approach your business.
And I tell my fails, I tell my struggles. A lot of my clients know the different, you know what I mean? Not to get too personal, obviously, but they know my life to an extent. And again, it's just being real.
Yeah.
Cause I'm just like them.
Yeah.
I'm not better than them. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Well, let's give Talitha a hand. Thank you for. Yeah, that's super helpful. I think sometimes we think that the top producers, have it all figured out, their lives are perfect, and they never struggle with balance, and that's a myth. Yeah, for all of them. Cassandra, we've stalled long enough. So I have worked with Cassandra for 2.5-ish
Feels like it.
years. Feels like 10, she says. And I don't know if I've ever worked with someone as competent and unflappable at the same time. I think, except for maybe 2 of the people who are gonna share later, like there's a theme with a couple of the folks coming where it's like being highly productive and being a stress ball don't have to go together. But all too often we think that like, oh man, look at that person, and look at how like busy they are. And it's like, no thanks. So I wanted her to talk about kind of mentality and priorities, because I think you embody that as well as anybody I know. So take it away.
The meanest thing I'm going to say today is if you allow yourself to become a stress ball, you lose competence. No one thinks a stressed out person is competent. You're not your best self. So if you're feeling overwhelmed, what do you do from there is something that is a learned behavior for me. I, at one point in my life was a stress ball and people did not perceive as competent. So welcome to the benefit of that. So one of the things that was most impactful for me in developing that reputation for myself is the notion that your feelings are information.
Not all information requires action, and it's telling you something that you need to know.
Can you say that again?
Your feelings are information, and not all information requires action. So for an example, if you're driving your car and you totally aren't looking at your cell phone and there's suddenly a car in front of you, you're feeling anxious, you're feeling scared, all you have to do is tap on the brakes and it's done. So that feeling requires action. If I'm having an interaction with my friend that's not going the way I want it to, and I'm feeling stressed and I'm feeling anxious, I have the opportunity to address that feeling internally before I make it the other person's problem. So like, I don't like the way this is going. What's going on for me? Do I need to talk to them about it, or is this a inside problem? So I think that piece of wisdom is very helpful as you navigate your day-to-day life and as you navigate different circumstances. So if a client comes to you with something that they think is the end of the world, talking them through that without meeting that emotional level makes you seem more competent. It makes you seem like you know what you're talking about, and it makes you a safe place for them to have those feelings. So the other thing is that you really get to decide how your life is. So if you are choosing to indulge every feeling, every response, your life isn't going to be great. You're going to feel chaotic, ping-ponged all of the time. If you are choosing to only indulge feelings that are necessary and in an appropriate way, you're better off overall. So, sorry, it's not super exciting, my tips for dealing with this. So some of the things that really helped me get there, if I'm having an interaction and I am experiencing an emotional response, I will take a second. Like if I need to walk away, I will. And some of the ways I've incorporated that are like, I need a second to think about that. Or I will pretend a phone call with you. If it's really bad. I don't care, my phone's ringing, I gotta go. So creating outs for yourself and giving yourself the freedom to pause is very important. If you talk to me a lot and you give me a good one and I don't know how to deal with it, you'll hear me say, that's a really good question I've never thought about, fairly regularly. The other thing is to make sure that in the background of your life, you're setting yourself up to have a healthy emotional life. So finding coping strategies that work for you. It doesn't have to be journaling. It doesn't have to be exercise. It can be whatever you want it to be. Like for me, if I'm having a really bad day, what makes me feel a lot better is going to a car wash. Don't know why.
Oh.
No answer to that, but it's nice because it's quiet and it's like a light show. It's fine. But that's like a little thing that I'll do if I'm having a really bad day. I'm like, okay, we're gonna go get a car wash, and then I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna do something that I enjoy doing to set it up so I'm not coming in the next day in the same spot. So it's the little choices.
Can I ask a quick clarifying question?
Please do.
Candidly, the whatever I feel like doing for many of us is not gonna be like the healthiest thing. What I feel like doing is having 2.5 beers and watching a silly show. Can you talk with us about like that?
That was
Oh.
Half a bill?
Pass out after 2.5.
Sorry.
I get
We're not
sleepy.
here over.
So if you are a 2.5 beers in a show kind of person, that's to me okay in moderation. Like I'm not gonna pretend I don't occasionally have days so bad that I wanna go home and have 2 beers and go to bed. Never had 2 beers at the end of a bad day. But you know, a mixed drink and going to bed. I think when that becomes a problem is when that's your only method.
Yeah.
And when it's something that you have to do every day. Or heck, 3 days a week. If you're that stressed out, you are not addressing your feelings as they're arising, which is creating a pattern, which is causing you to feel more stressed out, and then it's just going to continue to get worse. So where you have to cut it off is before you find yourself in the position where I've accumulated so much stress that I have no other coping mechanism besides going home and getting out of that headspace. Like every once in a while, go crazy. I love it. Good night drinking is great for your spirit so often. But if it's,
Quotes, regarding the quotes for the day.
yeah, don't tell me about that. But if it's something that you have to do in order to feel okay, something you're doing in your day-to-day life is not allowing you to engage with your emotions and address them in a way that's healthier for you.
Screens also fun.
Ooh.
Just, we can think, oh yeah, Mark, that's not my thing, but if your only move is 3 hours of Netflix to unplug from your day, it's fundamentally avoidant.
I think that's worse than having 2 beers every day, going home and scrolling.
Cool, sorry, interrupted,
Oh, no, you're fine.
doing something
What
you
else
like.
did I want to talk about? I mean, really, it's about curating your experience in your life. If you are a person who does engage emotionally in a lot of things, I don't suggest avoidance. That's not the word I'm using, but it is the word I'm going to use. You don't have to put yourself in situations where you know this is going to be something that triggers you. Like, I don't have to watch this television show that I know is going to upset me. I don't have to interact with this person that I know doesn't behave in a way that's productive for me. Like, I don't choose to engage with certain members of my family in the same way that I once did because I can't be there for them in the way that they need me to be there for them.
Mhm.
It's not good for me. And I had to make that decision and communicate that decision, which is difficult, but worth it because now we have a better relationship because we've clearly established what the boundary is.
Boundaries, that's a huge word.
Yeah.
So this is a little bit of a different conversation than just like hacks to get more out of things. I'd love to hear from a couple of you. Why do you think this fits in a do more better conversation? Liz?
I think depending on your personality, my personality, if I let the bad stuff take hold, it will suck me down into this abyss where absolutely nothing happens.
And in real estate, do we have an above average amount of potential bad stuff
Oh.
that might take us down?
Well, yeah, how many people are you dealing with?
Yeah.
Day, week, month, whatever,
Yeah.
and each of them has a personality and an agenda and a set of needs. It's not to say that I ignore it or avoid it. I let myself sit in it for a minute
Mhm.
and try to, where is this coming from? Why is it affecting me this way? Is it worth any more time and energy than what I just gave it? Nope, thanks, see ya. Pour another cup of coffee, that's my cooking method, and on I go.
Mhm.
But boundaries are huge. I don't know that boundaries where other people are concerned always need to be communicated. We have to, I can't ask anybody else to respect my boundaries necessarily. I have to respect them myself
Yes.
and hold them.
Yes. That's so good. Yeah, Caitlin.
As you're talking, one thing I was thinking is like the way, if you have a client that calls you and they're up here, or oftentimes it's like the other agent on the end of the deal, something gets escalated and you're negotiating. Like, it's really easy to not pause and to just like match their level. So when you were thinking about that, there's been agents that in order to keep things productive and keep things moving along, like instead of answering the phone, I'm just gonna text them because it's a little bit more clear. We can accomplish what we need to accomplish, but I think if we talk on the phone, we're gonna butt heads because I'm not able to do that pause, you know what I mean? Because that is definitely like, everything you're saying is not me. I'm like, you fight me, I'll fight you back.
You got red hair, you know?
Yeah. But like, I've had successful deals with difficult people on the other end by doing that. So like, just to translate it into like, for people who are not normally just like calm.
Yeah.
That's what I have found that like helps me.
Another fun fact is that most people perceive 7 seconds of silence as rejection. So if you just sit for 7 seconds and let them think about what they did. Sometimes you'll find that there's a new path, or they'll hang up. Like if they're really mad at you, they'll just hang up. Also, if you didn't know this about me, I worked in a call center for many years.
Yeah. Pam?
I was just gonna say, like, coming from being in real estate, this job is very emotional and it's commission only. And
Yeah.
people can really hurt your feelings if they don't use you, or they say they're going to, and then next thing you know, you see on social media that they've, you know, posted a picture of they just sold a house, or you fall into the comparison game of, I got licensed at the same time as this person, and they're being so successful, and they might not be. We were just having this conversation that you could make yourself look really busy, and sometimes they are.
Yeah.
Sometimes they can get really lucky, right? Like, your phone could ring the next day, hey, I have a listing. It may take you 6 months to get yours, but you just have to stay in your same lane and not compare yourself to others. And
Yeah.
that's super hard to do.
Yep.
And I fall into that a lot of like, well, if I can't have a moving truck, then why do we do this business?
Yep.
You know, like you can find yourself like, well, no, I can offer something different than that moving truck can, right? Like,
There-
so just.
Yeah, that's so good. I think there are some careers, I think fewer than we think, but that don't really care about how you are thinking and feeling that day. Like I worked in landscaping for a number of years, loved it, and like if I'm angry riding on that mower or happy riding on that mower, I'm still gonna kind of do the same job. Real estate is not that way. And I was just talking with some clients recently who missed out on a multiple offer situation, and I was kind of like, oh, I'm saying stuff. I'm like, oh, this is pretty good. I should say this again. It's like my job in this process is to help you make good decisions. That doesn't mean we win every offer, but like good decision making is central to what we do. But if I'm in a funky headspace, I mean, honestly, what Cassandra said at the beginning is one of the smartest things ever that I think could change the way all of us live is your feelings are information, and that information does not require you to take action. And too many of us like, this happened, therefore I'm justified to be as angry or as whatever. It's like, no, you're just because that crappy thing happened doesn't necessitate you to behave in a certain way. And you behaving in that certain way is probably going to be less productive for your business. One thing I want to return to, you said stressed out people are viewed as less competent. And that's a challenge because I'm like, oh, there are times where I scurry about and I kerfuffle and I'm like, oh, I wonder how people view me in hindsight now. Mark's just stamping around the office.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen you. I don't think you've ever.
No.
come across
I
that way.
have moments. They're subtle. They're moments though.
No.
No, she disagrees.
Part of our job when clients are frustrated or there's a reason to be frustrated is clients want to feel heard.
Yes.
And so for Cassandra, you're not saying, correct me if I'm wrong, just be like a placid stoic that like they're having a meltdown and you're just like,
Are you done?
I am neither smiling nor frowning, I am just here. And they're like, yeah, I want my realtor to understand me. Like part of our job is to like jump in with our clients and be like, man, that is a bummer. And here are our options. And I think part of being a good, skilled, emotionally present agent is hearing, validating, taking a breath and saying, here's, as I see it, here's 2 or 3 options. We could counter, we could walk away, or we could hold our, whatever. And I think you modeled that really, really well on the day-to-day. Anything else? Other thoughts or questions for Cassandra? Danielle?
Something that has always stuck with me that I was recently told whenever I joined Ginger's team is Ginger said everything is always figure outable.
Yeah.
So if you just sit back and think, okay, I can figure this out. And then even if you dissect the issue, just know you can figure it out, whether it's a good issue, bad issue, you can figure it out.
Yes. And it's so true. If you're someone who slips into catastrophic thinking or all or nothing thinking, or this thing happened, that means the world is about to end, which we know it's not. It's like, have I figured out things before? Like, I've got a pretty strong track record of having survived to this point and having made my way through most things, and yet escalating it to like, this is the worst. Like, doesn't serve anyone except maybe our like feelings of justification in that moment. It's a great
I've
point.
noticed sometimes too, like, we're all human, obviously, and we get very heated, especially when it's something about your livelihood. Sometimes it's like, I think I understand what you mean, explain it to me a little bit more. And then honestly, I think sometimes people talk themselves out of the emotions they were having. Cause then when they think about it and try to explain it to me, then they're realizing maybe how irrational they're being on some things, or, different. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, putting the ball back in their
But
court.
it's not me telling them to
Yeah.
feel away, it's them realizing. I had a client go off on me because I left the property disclosure at the house. I was like, what? And she's like, are you trying not to sell my house? She's screaming at me, and I'm like, but there's nothing on there, I don't understand what what? Explain to me why you're feeling this way.
Yeah.
And not now I'm gonna be selling their other house.
Well, and that,
So, you know what I mean? She wasn't mad at me. I think she's just frustrated at the
help me
situation.
better understand, yeah, and I think,
Why are you feeling what are you feeling? Why are you feeling this way?
and you're pulling that out in moments where you might be tempted to say, calm down, and we all know that being told to calm
No, I
down
wanted to say
works
that's it, I'm pulling
0%
this.
of the time. Like, no one wants to be told, calm down. But to say, help me better
Help me
understand,
Yeah.
gives them agency, even if it kind of moves them to say,
Yeah.
if I'm forced to verbalize it again, it
This does
requires
sound
me to use
stupid.
my brain.
Yeah.
Like, I guess it's not that big a deal. Yeah, Jake.
What I think helps is asking people questions to help them move along to their own conclusion. So for instance, at a seller, we had a feedback from the showing, and one of the parts was, my client really wants mudroom in between the garage and the house, which that one didn't have. And then a couple days later, he said, get a hold of the realtor and tell him we'll negotiate. And I was like, how much negotiation do you think is gonna put a mudroom in between the garage and the house that doesn't exist?
Yeah. But asking questions.
Yeah.
Coming from curiosity, for sure. Cassandra, any final parting words? The answer can be no. Thank you. All right, another ninja that many of you probably don't know, Miss Jenna Lysick. Let's give Jenna a hand. I'm just gonna stay up here. That's okay. Jenna, who are you, for those of you who don't know?
I am Jose's executive assistant, which means I just do a lot of random things all day long.
Are you gonna stand?
Yeah, I'm not a
I'll come
standard.
off to the side just so that you can operate
you're
in your domain. So you are his executive assistant. What does that mean?
Whatever he needs me for the day. I do a little bit of everything, for the most part, organizing his life.
Jose has, for those of you who don't know, not just one business, he has many businesses, many different things he's plugged into, and the fact that he held out as long as he did before hiring a you is a little bit crazy. But your job is to bring organization to the chaos.
Tell him what to do, which is really fun because he really doesn't like to be told what to do. So I always joke that it's any day now that I'm gonna get fired because he really truly does not like being told what to do. And that's all I ever do is like, you remember, you have to do this, you have to do this, you have to do this, so.
So you are a professional keeper, straighter, prioritizer for him. What did you do prior to entering his world?
Before I was with him, I was working in government consulting, really boring job. But having to deal with a lot of politicians and getting things passed in the state and stuff like that. So much fun.
There's parallels there.
A little bit.
Strong personalities needing to be
Guided.
assisted and guided and made
Yes.
you think that it was their idea when maybe it wasn't.
Yes.
Cool. So what are we talking about today?
So, kind of give you a little bit of an introduction. Jenna, Jose's executive assistant. I have 4 kids. My daughter will be a senior in high school this upcoming year to a 4-year-old. I'm a cheer coach at a competitive high school. I'm running in 5 million directions at all times, but I'm also what I call neurospicy. So I am ADHD and autistic with a few other fun things added in there too. So you'll see me with my little fidget spinner.
but the ADHD in me hates monotony, like hates any type of structure, where the autistic part of me like has to have the structure, so it's kind of a war at all times inside my brain. So it's
And when
fun.
did you learn this about you?
Not until I was an adult, so
Okay.
it's recent. My son was diagnosed with autism, and the person doing the evaluation was like, "Do you think maybe you should get tested for
Oh,
this
interesting.
also?" And I was like, "Oh, okay." So I did find out that I do have it. This is why I'm a little crazy in the head, but it's hard. Like what the organizing that everybody tells you should do, like, oh, this, just do this, just do this. It doesn't work for my brain. It's never gonna work for my brain. Like I had, oh, if I just buy this really cute planner,
Yeah.
everything is going to be great
Yeah.
because I'm going to wanna use it because it's really cute. And if I buy all the pens and if I buy all the highlighters and if I do get the stickers, I'm gonna do this and it lasts for like about a week and then I have absolutely no idea where it is because I'm not a person that's going to be able to walk around with a planner. I will be in the middle of something, set it down, and be like, where did that happen to lay? So trying, like finding what works for a non-neurotypical brain has been fun, but finding, like, there's a method to get organized for everybody.
Can I pause you for a quick
Yep.
second and bring it to the room? We joke about realtors having squirrel syndrome. And whether you have been diagnosed in one of these ways or not, like, I don't want you to check out if you haven't. I'm one of those people like, I've never been diagnosed, but as people, like, you do the self-assessment for ADHD, I'm like, yeah, that's probably me. And so whether you struggle with focus, and you do if you're a realtor, or you just find yourself like, hey, my days have more than I can manage or keep straight, like this talk is for you, and I think you do this at a really high level.
Yes, because I mean, in my experience, like with realtors, it's, you guys are going every which way and it's very easy for things to, oh, somebody got like, hey, I need this, and you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get back to you, and then you completely forget about it, and then the organization is like, oh, 2 days later, you're like, I needed to do this. Or one of the things for me that was always happening is I would go to lay in bed and then I'd be up for like 3 hours going like, oh, I need to do this, 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 and then I wasn't sleeping. It would take me 3 to 6 hours to fall asleep every single night because I would just kept going over like, oh, I forgot to do this, I forgot to do this. So my first hack that I always do every single night before I go to bed, every single night, ChatGPT, pull it up, say, I'm going to word vomit every single thing that is on my mind. I need you to create a task list for me and prioritize it. I will just then speak. Sometimes it'll be 5 minutes, sometimes it'll be 15 minutes. But at the end of it, ChatGPT will put every single thing that I just like word vomited out to him, her, whatever it is. And then it will prioritize everything. Then from there, like I have a task list for the next day. And I now going to bed within 10 minutes. Like just getting that completely off of your chest and out of your mind does such wonders. From there, if you still have like a long list, you can say, okay, I need this task to be broken down into 5 different tasks. One of the things that I know another one of my neurospicy friends has done that, like if you have 50 things on your task list, that's a lot and that's overwhelming and that paralysis, like I can't, where do I even start? You can tell ChatGPT, only give me the 3 top priority things at a time. Don't tell me anything else. And when I say that I'm finished, tell me how great I am. Because like we have that dopamine of, hey, I just did this amazing thing and like it makes you want to do more. And then it's not overwhelming because once you get overwhelmed, paralysis, like for me, I don't even know where to start and I'm just sitting there like, what do I do next? What can I do next?
Jenny, you said ChatGPT will prioritize.
Yes.
Do you tell it, like, this is the most important thing tomorrow? Or, I mean,
for the most part, no. The more that you use ChatGPT, the more that it learns like what you kind of prioritize.
Yeah.
So at the beginning, like yeah, I would have to tell it like, okay, this is something, if I'm telling it, I'll say like, this has to be done by noon tomorrow. This has to be, and I will like add in if there is any time sensitive stuff, but for the most part, it now knows me so well because I do this every single night that it knows what like my priorities typically are, and it's absolutely amazing.
Can we go deeper on, word vomit could mean a lot of things. Are you like, I'm gonna look at my calendar while I'm doing this and say, okay, so my day started with this, like, if you told me like word vomit, I'd be like, so it was like hot today, like. When is word vomit?
My word vomit is like when I'm laying in bed and going, oh, I forgot to do this, and it's just like every single thing that is racing through my mind at that time.
Cool.
I will also use it for like, hey, I just remembered I had this conversation with my daughter. I don't know if it really went as well as I wanted it to. Like, I need to take some time to like check in with her, make sure she's okay. Maybe give me some ideas of things that I could ask for her. Like, you can ask ChatGPT for all of those things, and it's so amazing. And then I'll give you resources and everything like that. But I know that we're going over AI, so I don't want to go too deep.
No, you're good.
I mean, we can, if we want to, we can. Like I said, I am not a realtor, so I don't know really 100% what y'all do on an everyday basis, because I'm more of a support person, but use ChatGPT. It's a powerful tool that will do so much of your thinking for you and take away so much off of your plate.
Yep, so good.
Are we good for that?
Yeah,
Okay.
we might pull you back in our next conversation.
I kind of figured as much.
Yeah.
So the one thing that I use constantly and consistently is Google Tasks.
Okay.
I don't know if you guys use this at all. You guys have Google
Yeah,
Platform.
if you're with
for
KW, you have the G Suite. Yep.
If it's not on my task list, I'm gonna forget about it. So I don't know if you've ever heard the term like, don't put it down, put it away. Like, it's something that a lot of people will do for like ADHD, because if you put it down, you're like, where did I just put this? But if you put it away, you always know where it's going to be at. I use that same thing for tasks. If something is thrown at me and I know that I can't get it to it right then and there, I just immediately put it into my tasks, like for Google Tasks, and then it shows up on my calendar. So let's say, I get this all the time, Jose will be like, hey, remind me next Thursday to text this person. I'm just going to put it onto my task real quick, put it on for Thursday. On Thursday morning, it's going to then send me an alert on my phone saying, remind Jose to text this person on Thursday. And then I don't have to think about it. Like, get as much as you can out of your brain and into the systems that we have. Because you always have your phone with you. You always have like your computer with you. Use the technology that we have. And so I think Command, you can create tasks and stuff like that, but for Google Tasks, it's right there, like quick and easy. And then you also, for your emails, if you have an email like, hey, I need to get back to this person by this date, you can just push one button and it will send it over to tasks for you. So if it's not on tasks, most of the likely it's not going to be get done for me.
Did the tasks appear on your Google Calendar?
If you put a date on it, yes, it will.
Okay.
I use the tasks for more than just, hey, I have to do this. Like, I'm horrible for time. Like, it could have, an hour could have passed, 3 hours could have passed, and I have no idea. So I put on there, get up and walk. Like, because if I'm sitting at my desk, like, I need something to remind me to get up and walk, and it will send me an alert to get up and walk. For my medication, stuff like that. We're currently at Jose Medina and Associates going over the Culture Code book. I'm autistic. Trying to create great cultures, not really my forte of like checking in with people, because I'm more systems based. So I have an entire task list of culture stuff. Like, okay, one of my tasks for today is to go and talk to somebody that it may be new to the team, or bring a treat in. And I put like, that has its own task list, and there's nothing more satisfying than like, for a neurospicy person, hitting that mark completed, and then you hear the noise and it's like,
Yeah.
I love it. So those are like, if it's not on my task list, it's most likely not getting done. But use that tool. It's really easy. it shows up on the, if you want to open up your calendar, you can have it be on the right-hand side, so it's always open for you. And there's really nothing more satisfying than hitting that mark completed.
That's such a like a simple but valuable thing, like, not that we need to talk about like the science of gamification, but like doing things that provide small mental rewards, like the dopamine hits, like completing a checkbox is like, there's nothing magical about it, but for most of us, like that feels good. And if you're a checklist person, which a lot of people are, like lean into that. And if you're like me, it's like, on the days that I do checklists, it's like, I'm gonna start by writing in a few things that I've already done, just to get some dopamine from feeling like I've accomplished things.
Yes.
Try to judge me.
It feels so satisfying just to be like, done. Like, I did it, I accomplished something, because let's be realistic, life is hard. Let's like celebrate those small wins every single day, you know what I mean? But I was also really bad, like I love writing things down, but I will lose it. It will be gone forever. I will need a task list to figure out where I put my task list, so. Let's see, the next thing that I do, I don't know how much you guys do into Google Drive or anything, but like Google Drive does not help my brain at all, because most of the time for me personally, somebody else is the owner and it's in this folder, in this folder, in this folder. Like if it's more than 2 clicks, that's a hard pass for me. I will never know where it's at. And also I never know what it's labeled as. Like somebody else put the title and I'm like, okay, is it this? Like I love being able to search on Google Drive, but trying to actually find it,
So true.
never can. I created what I call an encyclopedia. Like I have a Google spreadsheet. Is it pretty? Absolutely not. But every single thing that I open up on a regular basis, I link it to that Google Drive. So let's say I like, hey, it's just literally a link. So then I have it labeled how my brain needs it to be labeled. And then I can quickly find it. So instead of me trying to go and I know that I need to find this one specific thing that like I go in once a month for. And then I'm clicking here, and then I'm clicking here, and then I'm clicking here. Nope, I can't do it. I'm frustrated, can't find it. Even if searching for it, can't do it. All I will have is, let's say, something like commercial properties here, and then I have every single thing that I need for my commercial properties, all of my normal go-tos, and all I have to do is click. Is it the most beautiful thing in the world? Absolutely not, but instead I keep it up at all times. And when Jose needs something, when Erica needs something, when Sandra needs something, when anybody needs something, I can typically get to it, like to that document in 30 seconds. Create an encyclopedia for yourself, because when you're out and about and you need something quickly, you don't want to hold on. Let me go find this. Hold on.
What is that called?
Like,
yeah,
yes, it's really annoying.
that's so good.
And then also, like anytime, if you have to write it out more than once, save it. I have a Google Doc of all my scripts. Hey, if it's a text message, if it's an email, anything, save it somewhere. There's no reason to reinvent the wheel every single time. Just keep it. Offer summary. Without a doubt, I can guarantee you the second that I'm walking into a doctor's appointment, Jose is going to be texting me, hey, can you send me an offer summary for this? And it's like, yeah, hold on. And I'm grabbing, and I can get it to him within 30 seconds because I have it saved and I just have to quickly get the information. Have it at your fingertips. We have the technology, but save things somewhere. If you're constantly, hey, like this is scheduled, save it in a Word document. I have a Word document, there's tabs on the side of like offer summaries, inspections, every single thing, that all I have to do is I have like it highlighted, what I have to fill in, so that way I can send it quickly. Something really easy to do, but take it out of the brain, put it onto the technology.
That's the kind of a theme. It's like the less that needs to live here, and there's a tool that I can track with it that works for me. That will help me sleep better at night.
Yes.
Add something to that really quickly, as it kind of relates to what everyone has talked about today. The emotional, mental, and energetic weight of things living in your brain is so great. It can impact how you show up. It can impact how you spend your time. It can impact like just who you are as a human being. And so if you did nothing else today, but you got in the habit of getting things out of here and onto whatever your preferred method is, it could be
That's big.
a game changer.
Yeah, that's a great point. Cassandra?
I do a similar thing. Mine's not actually before I go to bed. Before I leave this building for the day, I'm done working when I go home. That's a
What's
thing
that?
I'm very
Yeah.
emotionally committed to. You don't have to be, that's cool. But I think about everything I need to get done and I write it in a notebook that lives on my desk that I shut before I go home, because I'm done thinking about it. I have no brain left for this today. And that sort of physical practice is good for me if you're not a ChatGPT type of gal.
I just voice text myself all day. Like I have a text running to myself 100% of the time, and I just voice text. In the middle of the night, same thing, when I have a night like that, I just lean over and I voice text myself.
Brent's like, what's going on over there?
Exactly. Good thing he sleeps well. So yeah, I just go all day long voice texting, but I have a question about the label thing. Are you saying you create a spreadsheet that you put the label that is what you'll remember and then what was shared to you? So like every time someone shares something to me in Google Drive, I save their email. So I can go back to their email and go to the document that way. Because I have the same problem. I can't remember what the hell that document was called, you know?
Right,
Yeah.
so for that, like, as an example, so if you like go into like the Google, like in your Google Drive and you like right click, hit save, like, or copy link, I just go and copy that link
Gotcha.
straight into a cell on, the spreadsheet.
On your spreadsheet.
Yes, and then it will like create like a little link with like the title of it, and it's, so every single, and then I label them how I need, so, and then I have a whole thing on the right side of current projects, so if that could be current houses that are listed, like I have everything over to the right, different color. Everything that I like, weekly stuff, monthly stuff, everything is organized how my brain needs it to be. And organizing, I say, is kind of like a diet. There's 500 million ways to organize, but the diet, there's like how to lose weight. The one that works is what's going to work best for you. There's no like right or wrong. Everybody's going to have different preferences, but the biggest thing is finding what works best for you and your brain.
And being consistent.
And being
I did this
consistent.
and then I did that, then I did this. It's like a fad diet where it's like, oh, doing 3 different things at a time isn't gonna work.
No.
Yeah, it's great.
Anything else?
Great point. Thanks, Jenna.
Thank you.
Fantastic, I respect you. Okay. All right, Dina, come on up. So, yeah. So Gina is our resident AI specialist, right, Gina? Gina, you wanna, as we're passing out, begin to tell us about the class that you went to that informed some of what we're gonna talk about today?
If you have, I just need one leader and then I can give you guys.
Okay.
Yeah. I just need one more. All right, are you sure? What did you say?
Can you tell us the kind of the class or the event that informed some of what we're talking about today?
Yep, so I went to Cross Country Mortgage, they had a big event at corporate headquarters where they had Tom Ferry there. And I'll be honest, I always thought, who's Tom Ferry and what's the big deal about him? I really didn't know or care until I went to the event and was like, oh, okay. Now I get it. Like almost everything he said was so profound and so worth listening to that I tried to write down as much as I could and I was recording. But what I pointed out, what really stuck out to me was the conversation that he had with us about AI and in particular about ChatGPT. So I took a bunch of notes and I kind of put it into this lovely little format on Canva, using ChatGPT to tell me how to put this together.
That's cool.
So, in any case, so I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the really, really groundbreaking stuff that he was talking about that I didn't know existed. And has been really helping me with all the things that I do with coaching and my business, and really can be used in any way possible. So a couple things, and I hope everybody has ChatGPT on their phone. If they don't, they should get it downloaded
It's
for
free,
sure.
download it as an app,
And you don't have to pay for the $20, and I don't pay the $20 a month version, I may.
but you should create an account. So like
Yes.
you can use it without an account. You wanna create an account
Yes.
because then it can start listening to
Know
you.
who you are and all that stuff. So one of the things, and I'm gonna go through kind of more of a step by step, which is why I created this for you, is did you even know you can do a deep search in ChatGPT, or what that even means? I did not. Now, this was back in, I think, April, so it's become more known, but I was like, deep search, what does that even mean? And there's a little button when you look at your phone, and it's a little thing you click on and it opens it up, and then you're like, oh, I never even knew that little dot existed there. Pay attention to the little gray dots and lines everywhere, because they tend to open up to other things and we just ignore them. So one, deep search, and I'll talk more about how you can use it. Asking it lots of questions about anything. It can convert the answers to a PDF. It will ask you now, do you want me to create a Canva graphic for you? And then it'll send you a link for that. Then I do say yes all the time. Matter of fact, strangely enough, I just testing things out on ChatGPT. My husband built this structure, which is this giant roof over my daughter's patio with these big giant wood beams, which are obnoxiously large. And I noticed this summer that there was cracks in them, and I was like, the roof's gonna cave in, and this is thousands of pounds, so we needed a crane to bring it in, and oh my God, you did something wrong. And he's like, no, it's just normal, it's called something, I don't know what the hell he said it was called, but nonetheless, I went on ChatGPT and said, is this true? And not only did it say, yes, it is, it gave me a long explanation, and then it asked me, would you like to take a photo of it so I can be sure? And I said, well, yes. So I took a photo, sent it to ChatGPT, and it says, yes, those are normal stress cracks, blah, 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 due to weather.
Isn't that wild?
Isn't it? It was crazy. And I said to my husband, okay, I guess you're right, you know, whatever. But
The
I thought,
internet has confirmed.
we're all gonna die under here because there's cracks in the wood, but nonetheless, it worked.
You literally gave your husband you were right about something.
I said ChatGPT
Shame
said
on
you were right.
You set the bar, like, yeah.
For sure. It will do, as Jenna was saying, personal lists for you. It will create and tasks and how to do that, how to better market yourself on, you know, all social media outlets, and ultimately selling more homes. But here was the big thing that he had us do. He said, get out your phone and start to Google these certain things. And so I put them all down here for you.
Not Google.
ChatGPT. And some other things too, so there's a combination in here, but mostly ChatGPT. I mean, basically, let's face it, ChatGPT is the new Google, right? Like, it's just a better version, a faster version, it is basically just Google. Here was a couple things to do. Ask it, or however, whatever outlet you wanna use, what is in the minds of people in Canton, Ohio? Ask that question. What are people in Canton, Ohio doing? What are they looking at online? What are they Googling? What are they ChatGPTing? What questions are most people online asking about the area that we live in? Here's a useful tip. There's a site called answerthepublic.com, which will give you lots of answers to lots of questions. And so what you're doing here is you're coming up with lists and lists of things that people are doing online that then you can create posts on your social media or go in Facebook groups and then have the answers to their questions, which creates you being a resource. So that's just one thing you can do. Another question was, how can I find people in the blank area that are looking for homes? And it's gonna tell you who is, okay, let me back up. I should have drew a line there. So now this is a whole nother thing we're gonna start to do. I was doing this at 9 o'clock last night, so I should have drew a section line there. So draw a line right through that. That top part is one whole thing that you can do in a community or area that you're researching or wanting to do business in, to get some ideas of what people are searching. Then this, and this was the thing that I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Go in ChatGPT and say, who is Gina Ferrer in the real estate world in the Northeast Ohio real estate market. So you're asking it, who are you as in regards to real estate? And then it's gonna tell you, and it's gonna punch out a long list of details of everything that you've ever done online, any review that you've ever had, wherever you've posted, if you bought Zillow leads in the past, I mean, anything that's real estate related due to you. You have to put the area, cause I found that there's lots of Gina Ferreras in the world apparently. And so doesn't seem like there would be, it's not like John Smith or anything, but there are. And so be very specific on those details. And then ask it, how do I show up online? And then it's gonna tell you its opinion on how you're showing up. And then ask it, where are my marketing gaps? And then it's gonna tell you a long list of marketing gaps. And then you're going to ask, can you put together a step-by-step plan for me to maximize my online presence? And it will. Can you email me or drop a PDF here that is an actionable task list? Can you create a time block calendar for a 40-hour-a-week job or a 2-hour-a-week plan that I can follow 5 days a week as a real estate agent? Or however you want to tweak that to fit your goals. And then even further, can you create a 30-day plan so I can sell blank number of houses in blank number of days? Actually, some of those things, it asked me if I wanted it to do that for me. I didn't even have to go, these last 3 questions, I didn't even ask it that. It said, would you like me to create a task list or put together a 30-day plan for you so that you can sell blank number of houses in the next so many months? So then the next thing you can do is find an agent that you follow anywhere in the world that you want your marketing to look like, or you want what they're doing to be able to be something that you're doing. Do just a screenshot of their profile, upload it into ChatGPT, and tell it to create a plan by analyzing what they're doing so that you can do the same thing.
I'm
And
doing
then,
this in real time, I'm not just saying.
yeah, no, right, yeah, I figured that you would. And then you can decide before you do that, what is your brand? What brand are you trying to be? Who are you wanting to be out there viewed as in the general public?
Yeah.
What kind of business are you looking for? Who is my ideal client? And then, you know, tell Chat to optimize your bio for a real estate business and then use that same bio everywhere. Don't brand yourself different. I mean, I was shocked when I went on my Instagram and I was like, oh my God, my website said Gina Ferrer at Jose Medina Associates. I haven't been there in 7 years. That's on my website, that's on my Instagram right now because I hadn't been auditing my accounts. So be careful that you make sure that you're auditing things and your picture is the same everywhere and all the things that you're doing. And then just tell ChatGPT to write a bio based on who you believe you are, what you believe in, what likes you have. Like, I'm a dog loving person who lives in Canton, Ohio and is blah, 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 whatever. And then have it write it in under or at 150 characters for your bio. I'm skipping through this really fast. And then the next thing, which this was not Tom Perry, I've kind of integrated a couple of people. Her name is Megan Weigel. She's someone who I follow from the locker room and she did a great class on Instagram. And so some of these ideas were hers in regards to specifically Instagram, which were to link everything to your social media together and create a link tree that you have uploaded into your Instagram and probably on Facebook and all of that. And then have everything branded together so that when someone clicks on one thing, they're seeing everything, using all of your hashtags for anything that you want as a resource on all of those pages. So for example, she was talking about if my favorite coffee shop, make sure you have a hashtag to your favorite coffee shop. So therefore, if I'm working there and I create a post, I'm going to put that on my social media, hashtagging and tagging them in it, and then asking them to share it to their business. And I'm gonna do a whole class on the Instagram thing here next month, but there's a million things that you can be doing to optimize your viewers and engagement on your Instagram in particular, that I didn't even ever think of before as well. And then going into ChatGPT and saying to create a link tree to optimize all of the information that you want to be seen on your website, on your Facebook, on your Instagram, and everywhere. And it will just do it all for you. And then you can copy and put it all into, actually, I think if you pay for ChatGPT, you can create an assistant that will actually then go and do it for you.
Yeah.
So even better. So I think I may be doing the $20 thing and saying, all this is a lot and it's all great, and I put together all these lists and stuff like that, but then now I have to go on all my sites and do all the things. I think I'd rather pay ChatGPT $20 a month and have that robot do it for me. So that's something, that's another thing that you can be focused on doing. I know we have a couple people that are using that on a high level. So, and then ultimately with social media, keep adding friends, keep adding followers. They'll follow you if you follow them. Follow friends, like I hijack the people that I want to be friends with their friends, and I just friend request their whole list. Same with on social media with Instagram. And then start engaging and start using those tasks, because that's what it's gonna tell you to do. Start to engage more on all of your outlets of social media. Don't just but like, comment, and then DM to create the engagement. And when you're DMing, ask questions, comment on things, do things to get them to respond to you. I mean, I put together a spreadsheet of over 250 people that I had created a new Facebook group and started just inviting people to it. And I got their names, their numbers, their email addresses in less than a week. Just from making a very determined task list of what I was going to do to just get people to follow a Facebook group. And now I have over 250 names, and also doing things to get them to give you their email address. So just asking questions and then saying, I can offer this to you, drop your email in the chat or DM me, and then boom, now I have over 250 people. And I only spent a very small amount of time on it. I would have over 1,000 if I kept at it, which I will be able to get back to. But anyway, I know I've talked really fast, I know we're running out of time, so I wanted to get all that in. Go
So
ahead
good,
and-
and I was kind of playing along with you as you were walking us through those prompts, just like, hey, how do I, I forget the first question I asked, but basically, how am I perceived online, and how would you describe my brand, were the two questions I asked together, and it gave me shockingly, it's like, yeah, that's true, that's me. I then asked to create a social media content calendar for the next 6 months, kind of that's consistent with that brand. And it created an every 4 days, here's something to post. And it asked me, would you like me to craft images along with that to make it more engaging? So it's working on that presently, because a lot of people are creating images right now. But it's useful to help us do more better. In my opinion, AI, and I'd love to hear some of your guys' uses for it at this point. It's not like just write me this thing and I'm gonna copy and paste it and just use that. I think that's okay. When I read those, I'm like, I know computer created that, and also that grammar there wasn't perfect. It's gotten better. In the early going, I'd be like, just use the same word twice in a row. It's just
edit.
Yeah, but
Don't
edit it. And
go ahead and use it for captions, but just don't have someone be like, I know that you ChatGPT that caption.
Yeah.
Edit it so it sounds.
Well, and that's okay, but I think its best use is helping us to do better. I'm of the mind, I was talking with another one of our agents the other day. Technology that helps us be better is great. Technology that requires less of us. If we think, over time, am I gonna be more human and smarter and a sharper communicator, then that's good. If it's no, I'm just gonna be a robot that stares at screens all day, I'm out on that. That's just a personal value statements. But I think AI and ChatGPT and other tools give us the opportunity. One of our agents uses it to help him script better. He's still walking into those appointments, having to have the conversation. He's not hey, let me turn my phone on and see how it would answer. That's not gonna win you the listing. But if you're using it to be a better agent, all the better. I think that's fantastic. What other uses are you guys seeing? What other, Linda?
So I have a dear friend that's a psych nurse up at Akron Children's, and obviously she's stressed beyond absolute words. But we got together this past weekend and we were talking about ChatGPT and how much they use it now at the hospital. And so I'm thinking some of the other things that were said about, you know, your stress relief and different things, like she creates bullet points with ChatGPT on,
Yeah.
you know, how her clients or how her parents of the clients can, so, I mean, if we need stress relief ideas or whatever, so that's, you know, real estate related, but yet.
Yeah, yeah, it's, I find it useful to frame thoughts, like I met with an agent recently and I put in, this agent's been licensed for 10 years, they sold 50 homes last year, that here's 2 problems that they're facing in their business. What are some things that would be important for us to talk about in order to help them move the ball forward? I'm like, wow, dang, oh, you know, like, and I didn't like read off of that as we met, but it helped give shape to like, oh, that was something that I wouldn't have thought of that I'm gonna ask
Yeah, I
about.
use it a lot, just to spur an idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's great. Who else? Yeah, Jake.
So creating funny posts, post on my Facebook page, so the Father's Day
I
one
saw
that
that,
I posted.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah,
just
that
took a
image.
picture of myself, said, create a Father's Day post.
And you had the brokerage logo on there too, like that was
On the
good.
apron
Your
outside.
face was, I'm trying to remember, your face was either tiny.
Yep,
Yeah.
yeah, the dad shoes, yep.
Yeah, it can, there's a creative side to it too. Liz, you were gonna add something?
I had a 20-some page document that was basically the summary of an organization.
Mhm.
And I needed to come up with a 30, 60, 90-day plan. So you can upload documents into ChatGPT and say, use this as the basis for, here's the goals, here's the benchmarks. It was beautiful and
Yeah.
required very minor edits.
Yeah, that's so good. Hang on a second, Danielle.
You okay?
I actually use it for a lot. I wrote down some of the ideas that I have used it for. I have a goal of mine to attend an event next year as an agent with a table. So it has created me, I said, hey, this is my vibe, this is what I'm going for, but I still need to keep it professional. It gave me a whole layout for my whole booth setup. I said I need to make sure I add value. It gave me ideas to add value. I've created brochures with it. It gives me scripts to create video content. And I use it for lead gen too, because like if I'm texting somebody that I don't know, I don't want to say, hey, I'm just checking up, but I don't know what else to say. I'll put in there like, hey, this is what I'm trying to do, but ignore, don't use these words and add something of value. And then I'll use that to send to all my clients.
That's great, that's a great use.
And I submitted an HOA, the document, like 90-some pages, and I said, hey, can you summarize this for somebody who has no idea what they're looking at? And it did, it
Mhm.
summarized all of it, and I sent it to my client. I did tell her like, hey, this is from AI, so
Yeah,
take it with a grain of salt, but these are the basics.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, we wanna make sure we're not accidentally like, here's legal advice, you know, like we're not, upload inspection report and tell them what to you know, like, we need to be thoughtful, but I think that's a great use, like,
Yeah,
hey, this is a starting place at least.
I've been trying to use it for everything, I've been trying to think outside of the box, like, my husband and I, we didn't have an argument, but we disagreed on something. So I put in ChatGPT, hey, this is what he said, this is how I took it. Can you help me understand?
It's a therapist.
And it gave me like his point of view, and it was how he seen that statement and exactly how I seen that statement. And it gave me like suggestions on how to communicate better and understand each other. And I mean, it was pretty spot on. So
That's
it can be
great,
used for
and also
everything.
kudos for you for asking those questions, I feel like a lot of us would be like, my spouse is wrong, help me to make. That's great, Jenna, I think you were gonna begin to say
Well,
something.
just kind of off of that, like if you tell ChatGPT, first you tell ChatGPT, you are the therapist. I need you to analyze like this conversation and tell me what you see out of it, cause like there's times I'm like, am I getting this wrong? Am I reading this the
Yeah.
incorrect way? It's amazing. It's 100%, I use that all the time, and like especially like for tone, like could this be misconstrued as the wrong tone? But one thing that I love for ChatGPT is I will constantly ask it, like, what do you see as my strengths and weaknesses, and what am I not doing well? that I could do better at and come up with a plan of like steps that I can take daily to get me to like whatever weaknesses that I currently have.
Self-improvement.
Amazing.
We do have an agent who she has received feedback that sometimes her communication is a bit harsh, or overly direct or assertive or whatever you want to say. So she like runs her like, hey, this is what I'm gonna say, runs it through ChatGPT, asking it to soften it, and that's
Can
what
we
she
guess?
says. No, we're not gonna guess. We're not playing that game, Melina. We're like, hey, that's a good like, hey, I've learned about this part of me that it's not perhaps everyone's favorite part of me. I thought that was a great use. Any others? Yeah, Jake.
MLS listing input description.
Yep.
Throw in pictures, you throw on the input sheet and ask it to come up with a description for you.
Yes, and we can ask Sam.
Yeah, watch it.
For those of us that are connected with American Title Solutions, they are partnering with listing.ai. It's a I think it's like an even level up version specific to doing better with your listings. I don't know much about it, but they're doing an info session on July 9th about it. That sounds pretty cool, but I think that's a great use as well. Gina, any parting thoughts? Cool.
Go use it.
Yes, go use it. And I think this will segue with Erica's next session. Like, the more you use something, the better you become at it and the better it becomes for you. And so if that shows up on your calendar, it's probably gonna be more meaningful. Finally, bringing us home, this is the putting it all together. We all have 168 hours in the week, and yet our relationship with those hours is different. So one of the things that I've admired most about Erica is her ability to get things done when they need to be done, and to do so similarly to Cassandra with a level of serenity. So we're gonna talk about time and putting it all together. Erica, take us away.
Yeah, so time blocking is a concept that most people are familiar with, but not everyone is initially comfortable with. I think especially with people with the typical realtor profile, personality profile, it seems counterintuitive to have to be scheduled the whole day or the whole year or whatever it may be. It's a bit overwhelming. And so today we're going to talk about a couple tips and tricks for how to potentially implement this into your life. Because you can't do everything perfectly, but you can create a schedule that supports your being present, reduced stress, focus, and reduced guilt. We all know that when we're doing anything and our clients call, they expect us to jump. And we not only know that, but we know and we feel the guilt that comes along with not being able to jump right when they need us to. And I think that creates a lot of inner turmoil for us, which creates a lot of additional stress. And there are ways that we can be time blocked and also be ready to jump at the drop of a hat. So let's talk about how, and these are very actionable steps. So if you're a note taker, I would recommend jotting these down. Number one is to set your business hours. We're gonna come back to this. So we're just gonna start with general business hours. It can be 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. It can be 6 p.m. to 10 p.m., whatever it is that you have to do business in, okay? Next, we're gonna enter any conflicts during those times. So family vacations, sports, fun, going to church, anything that you do on a typical basis that may preclude you from doing business during those hours. Now we're gonna look at our business hours and think, do these work? Do we need to make any adjustments? Do we need to change a 6 to 10 to a 6:30 to 10, or add a Saturday, or whatever it may be? Just learning to work within the time that you have available. Next, we're going to enter the things that we always do. So these are on a recurring basis or not, it could be a yearly basis, whatever it is. Maybe you pay bills twice a month. You have a standing hair appointment, going to church, lead gen hours, open houses, recurring meetings, coaching calls. Once you have all of that kind of on your calendar in a placeholder of any kind, you're going to set yourself recurring appointment slots. Don't panic. These are flexible. The idea is that once we get a look at the amount of time we have available for business, we want to make sure that we're doing business during that time. And so making sure that we have appointment slots that we can move around. This is a living, breathing calendar, so we can change things as we need to. But then you know that if you're in a hair appointment at this moment and someone calls you, you know when your next appointment slot is available. And you can change those as you need to. Tips for this, because it doesn't feel super exciting at first. Start by entering things as they happen. So you're sitting in this class today, make sure that that's on your calendar right now. It doesn't have to be, anything crazy. You're just getting in the habit of making sure that everything you do is on your calendar. So if it is a hair appointment, if it is a walk with your kids in the evening, putting it on your calendar just to start to build the habit. This will cause you to be like, oh, okay, those things do belong there and they're not so scary. Be generous with your estimates, especially at first. If there's a project that you're working on or you're going to do lead gen, and it's not something that you do often, or you're just going to start, make sure that you give yourself some extra time. Guaranteed, you're going to get distracted, you're going to get a phone call, you're going to kind of futz around for a while, and it's gonna take you time to build that momentum. So give yourself kind of some extra time. The idea is to set yourself up for success as much as possible. So a lot of the push-pull with time blocking is that people feel like they can't do it well. And so the tips that we're going through now are set up so that you can start to ingrain in your brain that you're good at this. Next, move, don't erase. If you have an appointment, if you have something that gets moved, kid's soccer game that is rained out, that has a rescheduled date, make sure that you're not just right-click delete, you're moving it to the appropriate time. It saves you time, it saves you energy, and it saves you from forgetting about it later. And if something does get canceled, let's say I invited you to something and then I cancel it, it's no longer on your calendar, but you know that it still needs to happen. Take that quick second and just put a 15 or 30-minute time block on your calendar to reschedule appointment with Erica. Schedule yourself planning time. So this doesn't sound fun, it's probably not fun, but we do have the tendency to overbook ourselves sometimes. So being able to look forward in your calendar at the next day, at the next hour, at the next week, whatever it may be, whatever you have the capacity for in that moment, just taking a quick little peek at what you have coming up and making sure that you're moving things around as needed. The more often you do this, the better off you'll be, because no one likes to find out at the last minute that they overbooked.
Yeah.
And then finally, implementation time. So as you start to build this new habit, make sure that you're scheduling yourself a little extra time. Maybe it's in your planning time, maybe it's separate, but just kind of to work on your time blocks. They will be clunky at first. They will be a little bit stressful at first. You may feel like you're failing for a while. But just know that with practice, it can free you up to do so many things. My dad always said, there's 24 usable hours in every day. Obviously, we wanna make sure we're sleeping, we're taking good care of ourselves, we're spending time with our family, doing whatever it is that matches with your values. But then whatever time you have left over, that's the time that you have to do great things in your business. So just make sure that you're purposeful with that time, and it can be a game changer.
So good.
Questions, comments, concerns?
I think the, I'll go first with the question. But Erica, I time block, putting it on my calendar isn't the issue, honoring it. You know, I look back on a Friday afternoon and be like, hey. And for me, this is candid, if I'm meeting with someone else, I'll be there. But if it's like lead gen or follow-up time or plan for that thing. If a squirrel runs by my window, I'm gonna, you know, the odds of me going and doing something else are very high. And I suspect that I'm probably not alone at that. How would you coach towards higher level of commitment to the time blocks once set?
You have to make a choice. And you have to look at your goals and you have to make your calendar match your goals.
Yeah.
So if you have a time block for lead gen that you're blowing through every day and you know, just do whatever else you feel like doing during that time, then you have to ask yourself, is that the highest and best use of your time? Because if you're actively choosing to not do it, maybe it's not actually important.
Yeah.
And maybe it needs to be something else. Maybe you need to look at what you're doing for lead gen or splitting it up into smaller amounts of time or at different times or whatever it may be.
I'm of the mind with regards to lead gen, it's less about the amount of time and more about the results that you're getting. Like, hey, whether it takes you 4 hours a week or 20 hours a week, if you set, you know, if you set an appointment a day, you're gonna be fine, you know? Talitha's doing it from her couch while she's texting people and folding her lawn, you know, like, it can look different ways, but the more you're dialed into that, say like, hey, my world changes if I take 2 listings every single month. And I know that in order to take 2 listings, I need to go on at least 3 listing appointments. And I know in order to set 3 listing appointments, it's gonna require this number of contacts. In order to make time for that, you know, like you reverse engineer your way into the activity to make it relate to the goal.
Yeah, and it's not about creating guilt for yourself. It's about setting up a calendar that works for you and your business and your lifestyle.
I also liked when you are setting the recurring appointment slots. So let's just talk about appointments. Like appointments are the thing in your business. If you don't go on appointments, you don't have business. And if you do go on appointments, you will have business if you don't, even if you don't convert all that. So it follows that we could put appointments on our schedule, even if we don't yet have those appointments.
Yeah.
Which when that client says, oh yeah, I'd love to meet and talk about selling my home or talk about the buying process. Does Thursday afternoon or Friday morning work for you because you've got it there? And meanwhile, you might have your hair appointment at 10:30 on Friday and that slot's not available because you've got it on there.
Right, or maybe you have your lead gen on for that time and you need to move it up or down or whatever it may be, not delete it.
Yeah.
Just move it.
Yeah.
And you can switch all those things around as needed if it's not an appointment with another person.
Yes. Yeah, that's good. Other questions? Thoughts for Erica?
Yeah, so I think one of the difficulties with time blocking can just be that it seems rigid. And I'm definitely one of those people that like, if I don't accomplish what I said I was going to, I feel really bad. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I did nothing today. When that's probably not true, but so like, what would you say to a buyer's agent who I went on some showings this evening, we saw 3 houses, the likelihood that we're gonna write an offer is high, like how would you time block, I'm gonna get home, you know what I mean, like, how would you put on your schedule to plan for those unknown activities, like, I might be writing off, I say that to my husband, I might come home and write an offer tonight. So, but I might not, you know what I mean, so, I don't know, what would you say?
Good question.
It's a great question. Err on the side of caution. Be generous with your time blocks. You would likely rather schedule time on your calendar than be surprised that you have to write an offer. Or maybe it even is like, you know, you were in appointments until 9 p.m. and because you have an early morning, you have to make sure that you're either doing things that evening or after your first appointment the next day or before. You're just able to see what's available to you on your calendar, and move things as needed. And I think that the mental stress that is caused by feeling like you don't have enough time for things is pretty potent. And so being overly generous and making sure that you have more time blocks sometimes than you need. Because worst case scenario, you go to sleep. Or you spend time with your family or whatever it is, and you get time back.
Can I make a suggestion too? I always tell agents do, and I do too. If I'm going to show 3 houses and it's likely that they're gonna like one of them, I create the opportunity and the loop ahead of time. It probably already was created now because we have to get the buyer's agency signed. And I do that in documents down at the house.
Yeah.
So then I would load all 3 property disclosures, all 3 lead-based paint, get my pre-approval in there. Maybe create folders in your loop with each of the addresses, because you can always change the name of the loop later when you find out which address. And worst case scenario, you were ready to make an offer that didn't happen, so what?
Yeah.
And then you just have all the paperwork, and I even would start filling it out as much as I can without the address, without the price, without the inspections and all that stuff. Because most of it's all gonna be, like, I gotta do the ABA, and I gotta do the anti-fraud and all
Yeah.
these things. That's not gonna matter what address it is. So there's lots of blanks on the purchase agreement. I'm not gonna put maybe a purchase agreement in every folder, because you can drag and drop them, right? So, specific to the address, I would create folders, and then up top, I might just keep all those other documents. And then, especially like, if I got, like, let's just say, a movie we're going to tonight, and I'm showing the house before it. Well, I'm not gonna miss it, we already bought those tickets, so I'm gonna make sure I have time beforehand, then I can quickly get it done so I can get out the door, you know?
Yeah.
Just getting ahead of it.
Any more questions, concerns? Press for help?
My just final parting thought, and this is kind of a synthesis of both Cassandra's bit and yours. I had a friend who was a therapist who would regularly say, "Your urgency is not my emergency," which I think is a helpful, like, you could say that in a mean way, like, sorry you're stressed, but that's not my problem, you know, like, don't be a jerk about it, but like, I think that helps you honor time blocks, that helps you prioritize the right way. Just because someone says, "Hey, can we talk?" doesn't mean that you need to rearrange your day for those things. Hey, I have an appointment, which they don't need to know is me generating leads right now, or whatever. So long as we're following up in a reasonable amount of time. Yeah, Jake?
I guess would putting like a scheduling link into a link tree for people to go to schedule an appointment with you make sense?
Sure, you could try it. I mean, that won't work for everybody.
Yeah.
But it can help.
The risks, so can totally work. The risks with that, as Gina will testify to, is like, you get an appointment, like, you didn't set up the logic perfectly, and you get an appointment 30 minutes from now across town, you're like, you know, so like, and good scheduling apps will say, like, you need at least 4 hours buffer time, this is specific to a phone call, like, you can protect yourself there if you're setting it up the right way, but I know that, and you can set it up such that you have to approve it.
Yeah.
You know, I think some people would be like, oh, this appointment just showed up in my schedule and I'm not mad about it, but I need to move my day around a little bit.
I don't love it, as you know, I'm working with getting some calendar things going right now, but I'm very specific and I control it on the days that I'm even allowing it to be a block for certain things.
Yeah, I was thinking about
Because-
setting it up like, I've got 3 hours in the morning where I can go grab coffee with somebody, they can schedule those.
Yeah.
So
In between those
it
3
could,
hours.
but like, for me, it's recruit appointments, so it's
Mhm.
very specific. I don't know if buyers and sellers and the general public are gonna feel that they wanna do that.
I understand.
It
Yeah.
takes the personal out of the appointment, in my opinion, but it depends on what the appointment's for.
Yep,
If
agreed.
it's someone you already are talking to.
Yeah.
And you think that they might need to talk to you more about something, maybe then, but I don't know that I'd put that out there to the general public necessarily.
Yeah. All right, we are a few minutes past, ironically, after time blocking. That's my fault, not Erica's. Thank you, Erica. All right, lunch is out there. Before we go, did people put names in baskets?
Yes.
Did that happen?
Okay, I did it for you.
Sam, you are our wonderful sponsor today, so I'll let you draw. One blind. This is for 2 summer mastermind tickets, Friday, July 25th, in Independence.
It's like,
Is he here?
I don't know, he just walked in, so I wrote his name down.
I would say we can pop over there.
Okay.
We'll pop over there. Congratulations, Mike. I'd love 3 takeaways before we break for lunch. What's something that you learned today, thought about today, that's gonna impact the way you live your life or in your business? Liz, then Jake.
I can work within the confines of my weird neurodivergent brain.
Yeah. No spicy.
Neurospicy, I love that.
Yeah,
Love that.
yes. I like to tell folks the best version of you, like your clients need the best version of you, not some template of what you think you're supposed to be. Like if I felt like I needed to be Erica for my clients, I would lose my mind because I'm not Erica. And so be spicy. Jake.
Using ChatGPT on a deeper level rather than just like Google.
Yeah.
Talking to it, setting schedules, stuff like that.
Yep, that's a big one. Andy.
I have OCD and it's like really bad, so I learned from Jenna, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess different ways to use ChatGPT cause I also struggle with like, at nighttime, I can't stop thinking about the things I either forgot to do or that I need to do tomorrow, so that was very helpful, just so I need to get it all out.
Yeah, brain dump.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was so good. Thank you all for your attention. And thanks for those again who shared your wisdom and experience. Grab some lunch, chat a bit. No hurry to get out of here. Thanks again, Sam, for providing.
It's ready.
And you didn't seem incompetent when you were dealing with the stress of the way that they dropped the ball. Jade, thanks for joining us.